Okay, listen. If you've been burned by extraction shooters before, I get it. We all have the scars. We've all had that one run where we finally decided to bring in the good kit, only for some mouth-breathing incel to bunny hop out of the bushes and delete you faster than Hillary Clinton can delete an email. See, extraction games tend to have this annoying habit of treating misery like it's a design pillar. Like, yeah, you're going to get ambushed, lose everything, and question your life choices. That's the genre. And sure, risk is an integral part of an extraction shooter, but a lot of games tend to confuse risk with just being actively hostile to the human spirit. And Arc Raiders is different. I think Arc Raiders is great. It's smart, it's cohesive, it's tense without being obnoxious, it respects different playstyles without neutering the danger, and it does something very rare for this genre. It makes me want to play it because I'm just having fun, not because I'm trapped in a grind loop. So this is my long-form breakdown of why Arc Raiders works, why the world feels real, why the systems feel deliberate, why the gameplay loop is so addictive, and why, no exaggeration, I think it is setting standards that the rest of the industry is going to be copying going forward. All right, let's get into it. Before I talk mechanics, I want to talk about the world, because the world is the foundation that makes everything else hit harder. Arc Raiders has one of those premises that immediately resonates. It's like Terminator meets the Matrix. The surface is controlled by Arc, murder machines that are patrolling, harvesting, and enforcing. Humanity is not rebuilding on the surface. Humanity is struggling to survive underground. And then you, a raider, venture topside to gather resources. Not because you're a superhero, not because you're saving the planet every run, because civilization doesn't survive on hope. It survives on parts, on batteries, on supplies, on whatever you can drag back before the surface or other raiders drag you into the dirt. And this is where the world building becomes more than just cool sci-fi. Arc Raiders doesn't pretend a common enemy magically makes everybody noble. Yes, the Arc are the existential threat. Yes, humanity is on the brink. But the game understands something that a lot of sci-fi stories dodge. Survival doesn't automatically create unity. It creates pressure. And pressure leads to people being people. Society feels decentralized. Underground life doesn't read like one big unified faction. It reads like a patchwork of communities and priorities. Raiders go topside for survival, for commerce, for obligation, for ambition. And some raiders, let's not sugarcoat it, they go topside because they value loot more than they value the cause. Even with a common enemy, some people lose sight of the bigger picture and decide the fastest way to thrive is to take whatever another raider has already collected. Which makes the PvP feel thematic instead of forced. It's not PvP because video game. It's got PvP because scarcity plus human nature equals treachery. And the other thing I love is how the lore makes you curious instead of just spoon-feeding you a half-baked story. The world has this constant, what the hell happened here energy. Abandoned facilities, industrial structures, places that look like they were built for a different era. An era that ended suddenly and violently. And you start asking questions. Where did the Ark come from? Why do they control the surface? What are they doing up here? What are they protecting? What are they trying to prevent? And then you hit certain locations, spaces that feel tied to bigger ambitions, bigger projects, and the game starts implying something darker. That there was an exodus, that some humans left Earth. And once that idea enters your head, the story expands instantly. Because now you're not just asking, why are machines here? You're asking, who is benefiting from this? One of the most intriguing possibilities the setting flirts with, whether through hints, environmental storytelling, or just the way the world is framed, is that the Ark might not be a random alien invasion or a simple AI went rogue scenario. It might be something more deliberate, something more human, something like a system, an enforcement mechanism. the kind of industrial control you would deploy if you wanted the surface locked down. Now, I'm not saying that's confirmed canon. I'm saying it's the kind of idea the world invites you to entertain. And the reason it works is because it fits the tone. The Ark feel industrial, systematic, like they're doing a job. And if they're doing a job, well, that makes you ponder who hired them. See, this is the difference between lore and world building. Lore is what the game tells you. World building is what a game makes you feel while you're playing. Ark Raiders makes you feel like you're living on the wrong side of a dystopian supply chain. And that brings me to the next thing that absolutely sells the world. Nothing feels like a borrowed asset. I need to give Ark Raiders a huge compliment that does not get enough attention. Every piece of gear, weaponry, and equipment feels like it belongs in this world. Nothing looks like generic sci-fi gun pack DLC. Nothing feels like it was imported from a different shooter and reskinned. Everything feels deliberately designed to exist in this specific dystopia. The guns are ugly, and I mean that as a compliment. They look rudimentary, welded, functional, like they were built in a workshop underground out of necessity. Your gear looks like it has history, like it's been repaired, like it's been scavenged, like it exists in a world where you don't get new stuff. You keep old stuff. And the reason this matters is the immersion. When your equipment looks like survival equipment, the raid feels like survival. When the world feels coherent, tension hits harder. When you hear machines in the distance, it doesn't feel like a scripted enemy encounter. It feels like you're trespassing on territory that you no longer own. And now that we've got the world and aesthetic locked in, let's talk about the stage where all of this happens. The map design in Ark Raiders is legitimately fantastic. Not just pretty, not just big, I mean intentionally designed extraction maps. Maps that create meaningful choices, support multiple playstyles, and stay interesting over time. See, a good extraction map has to do a million things at once. It needs routes that reward patience. It needs options for disengaging and rotating. It needs loot density without turning every match into the same funnel. It needs verticality without making whoever gets the roof first the only meta. And it needs to support solos without turning solos into free donations. The Ark Raiders maps feel authored. They have flow, they have landmarks. They have spaces that encourage smart movement instead of trapping you into the same 3 choke points where everyone performs the ancient ritual of peek, heal, peek, die. And the best part is how often the environment presents you with these micro decisions. Do I take the safe route that's slower? The fast route that's loud? Or the route that's neither safe nor fast, but has loot that will absolutely ruin your ability to continue making responsible decisions? And because the maps are layered, you can play like a ghost. You can rotate wide, you can use interiors, you can avoid hot zones, you can disengage from fights instead of being forced into every encounter like you're in a gladiator arena. Which brings me to the next point. Ark Raiders isn't just good looking, it's readable. See, visually, Ark Raiders is top-notch. The lighting, the textures, the atmosphere, the scale. It's one of those games where you catch yourself slowing down mid-raid like, hold on, this looks expensive. But the bigger compliment is this. It's not just pretty. It's legible. A lot of modern games look incredible until you start playing, and then everything becomes a visual soup. But Ark Raiders manages to keep the clarity. You can parse what's happening. You can interpret motion. You can identify threats relatively quickly, which is especially important in extraction games where being late by half a second is the difference between GG's and fuck my life. And now we get to what I think is secretly one of the strongest pillars of the entire Ark Raiders experience. This game's sound design is absurdly good. Not just in a footstep sound crisp way, but in like the audio is completely immersive and becomes its own character kind of way. The soundscape gives you information constantly. Distance, direction, enclosure, exposure, threat escalation. You hear the world around you. You hear the machines. You hear the tension building before it even arrives. Arc units don't just make noise. They broadcast danger. You can tell when something is patrolling, when it's alerted, when it's searching. The audio cues don't just exist for immersion. They exist for decision making. But the real reason I'm bringing up audio is because Arc Raiders nailed a mechanic that genuinely feels like a monumental leap forward for multiplayer games. Proximity chat. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say this is the best proximity chat system I have ever seen in an extraction-style game. First, the quality of life part. You can switch between party-only chat and proximity chat on the fly with a dedicated input. No menu diving, no pausing, no, hold on guys, let me open settings while bullets are happening. And here's the genius detail. When you're in party chat, you can still hear people around you who are using proximity chat. You're not sacrificing situational awareness just to talk privately. You're simply choosing whether your mic is broadcasting it to the room. That alone makes proc chat usable. It turns it into a tool, not an inconvenience. But here's where Arc Raiders embarrasses everybody else. See, in most games, proximity chat is basically a group call. You flip it on and suddenly everyone sounds like they're sitting at the same table, same volume, same presence. It's functional, but it's not immersive. It's like being on a Skype call. But Arc Raiders does something different. It broadcasts the voice inside the world audio.
Hey, what's up, man?
Voices sound like they're coming from the other Raider's character, within the space. It's directional, it's distance-based, it has occlusion. If someone is on another rooftop far away and they yell at you, it sounds far away. If they want you to hear them, they're going to have to yell. If someone is above you inside a building, their voice is muffled and you can tell it's coming from above you. If someone is behind a wall, you hear it like they're behind a wall. It is so immersive that prox chat stops being a feature and becomes part of the environment, like wind or footsteps or machine noise. And the effect this has on the game is massive. It encourages negotiation. It encourages roleplay. It encourages those weird, uniquely human extraction moments where somebody is trying to convince you that they're friendly, while you're listening for the tremble in their voice that says they are absolutely planning your demise. And because it's not a conference call, it's also tactical. You can literally locate a voice. You can gauge distance. You can decide whether or not you're being baited. It's the first proc chat system that I have used where talking feels like it has physical risk, like you're giving away your position and intent within the world space. And once you experience this kind of proximity chat, the old group conference call style prox chat feels ancient. It's like going from surround sound to a phone speaker. All right, enough on the audio. Let's talk about the thing that makes the surface feel dangerous even when there aren't any players around. The Arc enemies in this game are a serious threat. And I love that because most PvPvE games treat AI like their background decoration. Cannon fodder that you farm while the real game is the PvP. Arc Raiders refuses to do that. The Arc punish sloppy play. They punish greed. They punish tunnel vision. They punish you for taking fights in the wrong place at the wrong time. And because they're dangerous, the PvE isn't just background noise. It genuinely shapes player behavior. It creates restraint, and it forces trade-offs. You see, weapons and kits that excel at killing Arc are not always ideal for killing players, and the player melter guns are often woefully inadequate when the machines show up that do not care about your ego. So even the sweatier PvP players cannot go full arcade shooter mode without consequences, because the world will absolutely punish the shit out of them for that kind of recklessness. And on the flip side, PvE only players can't become unstoppable gods either, because building purely to delete machines comes with the risk when the unpredictable threat, other humans, enters the picture. Now, in my opinion, this is the healthiest PvPvE balancing I have felt in a long time, because the game doesn't enforce it with hard rules. The world enforces it. And that naturally leads into something else that Arc Raiders does that I absolutely love. Arc Raiders does not let you play like a movement freak in your typical arcade shooter. And thank God for that. This game has a different pace. It has friction. It has commitment. Stamina is real. You can't sprint forever. You can't just bounce around non-stop, jumping and sliding and bunny hopping while turning every fight into a caffeine-powered parkour montage. If you try to play like that, you gas out. And when you gas out in an extraction game, you die. And it's not just stamina. Almost everything in combat takes time. Reloading takes time. Weapon swapping takes time. Using grenades takes time. Applying bandages and recharging shields takes time. And this matters because Arc Raiders forces you to respect space and cover. If you take a few shots, your shield breaks, your health drops. You don't get to instantly pop back to full and re-peak like you're in a montage. Healing items in this game initiate a refill process. They don't magically teleport you from 1 HP to I'm totally fine now. You have to commit time to recover. You have to create distance or create safety. The same thing with reloading. You don't get to do the John Wick rapid reload while sprinting at somebody's face. If you're not safely behind cover, or at least at a safe distance, needing to reload often means you're dead. Because this game is not built around constant uptime. It's built around, you chose to fight here, now live with the consequences. And what this does, beautifully, is level the playing field. In a lot of shooters, the cracked out movement players dominate because the game enables it. It rewards mechanical chaos. It turns fights into a visual blur. Arc Raiders rewards methodical play. It rewards positioning. It rewards patience. It rewards reading the situation and deciding whether or not the fight is even worth taking. So if you're a slower, tactical player, you don't feel like you're automatically outclassed by the guy who plays like his floor is lava. And if you're a coked up arcade shooter player, you can still win gunfights, but you have to earn them the hard way. You have to use cover. You have to manage stamina. You have to plan your reload windows. You have to respect distance. It's one of the biggest reasons this game feels tense in a good way. Because when you commit to a fight, you're committing to the consequences. There's no infinite mobility and instant reset button to bail you out. Now that we've covered how the game actually plays, moment to moment, we can talk about the systems that shape the social experience. Arc Raiders has done something with lobby matchmaking that I genuinely think is one of the smartest ideas the extraction genre has ever seen. It uses behavior, your tendency towards PvP or PvE, as part of how it builds lobbies. On top of that, there's no selecting solos, duos, or trios. If you queue solo, it prioritizes matching you against other solos. Duos versus duos, trios versus trios. That alone makes the game feel less like you're signing up to get bullied by coordinated squads. But the real magic is the aggression-based matchmaking. If you habitually shoot other raiders, if your default interaction is hello, gunfire, your matchmaking experience starts to skew towards players who do the same thing. If you consistently avoid PvP and play peacefully, your lobbies tend to skew towards people who also aren't hunting humans for sport.
Hey, hello!
Hello! But there's a very important caveat. This does not mean that every match is safe. It just means the average behavior in the lobby tends to align with yours. Because in any extraction game, especially one with real tension, there's always the wild card. Hey, what's going on here?
This guy just...
Fucking piece of shit. What were you thinking, dumbass? Hey, hold on, I got a defib for you.
Thanks.
There is always the possibility that someone has a mental breakdown mid-raid and decides to go full psychopathic serial killer. And Arc Raiders is brilliant because it keeps that possibility alive. It doesn't turn peaceful lobbies into a PvE-only mode. It doesn't disable friendly fire. It does not remove betrayal. So even when you're in a lobby where people tend to be more cooperative, you still have this constant tension. Is this raider actually friendly, or are they just using me as a pack mule that they plan to euthanize at the extraction zone? And that tension is amazing, because it makes alliances meaningful. When you and a stranger team up and it works, it doesn't feel like, yeah, the developers turned on co-op mode. No, it feels like real humanity happened in a dangerous place. You both chose trust. You chose trust, they chose trust back, and both of you made it out. And that is so much more satisfying than, here's your friendly mode playlist. And the best part is that the system feels dynamic. You can bounce between extremes. If you want to go full American Psycho for a while, hunt, ambush, take fights, you can. The game will start nudging your experience towards lobbies that match that kind of chaotic energy. And when you get tired of the PvP loop, when you're done playing Murder Accountant, you can back off. Start letting raiders pass, start focusing on quests and art. Start playing Make Love Not War. And over time, the game starts drifting you back towards lobbies with more of that vibe. So you're not locked into a lifestyle. You're not picking a permanent faction. You are shaping your own experience through your behavior. It's basically the game saying, you want violence? Cool, here's violence. You want peace? Cool, here's more peace. But either way, the danger is always there. And that balancing philosophy, behavior nudges without safety guarantees, creates the perfect extraction tension. Hope plus doubt plus consequences. Okay, now that we've established the social foundation, let's talk about the systems that keep you moving forward long term. Quests and extraction shooters usually make me sigh, because quests too often means digital chores. Generic fetch tasks, busy work, stuff designed to slow you down instead of deepening the experience. The Arc Raiders surprised me here. The quests range from incredibly simple to rather complicated. But what's amazing is that none of them feel like the generic fetch quests that plague most games in the genre. They feel like actual missions. They feel like operations. And the closest comparison I have personally is DMZ from Modern Warfare 2. Now, DMZ had its issues, but its mission structure did something really important. It made you drop in with a plan. It pushed you into different parts of the map. It created stories because you were trying to accomplish something specific in a hostile sandbox. And Arc Raiders scratches that same itch. Even when the objective is straightforward, the way the quest interacts with the world keeps it from feeling like busy work. Because the surface fights back. The Arc fight back. Players might fight back. The environment itself forces improvisation. You drop in thinking, all right, I'm going here, grabbing this, and leaving clean. And then Arc Raiders happens. Suddenly there's an Arc patrol on your route. Suddenly your safest path is compromised. Suddenly you hear prox chat nearby and you're trying to decide whether to negotiate, hide, or pre-aim at the stairwell like you're filing a restraining order. And now your quest isn't a checklist. It's a narrative. And because quests push you into spaces you wouldn't otherwise visit, they naturally teach you the maps, teach you risk management, and teach you the economy. What's worth carrying? What's worth extracting? what's worth gambling on? Which leads into the crafting system, which is very expansive. At first glance, it looks really daunting. Like the game just handed you a pile of junk and said, "Congratulations, build a future." But once you get the hang of it, it's actually surprisingly straightforward. The depth comes from breadth, not confusion. You start to learn what materials matter. You learn what's common. You learn what's rare. You learn what is useful for your playstyle. And crafting becomes satisfying because it turns every raid into progress. Even if you didn't get the jackpot, you brought back something. Something you can convert into upgrades, something you can turn into better tools, something that makes the next raid smarter, not just riskier. And this is where Arc Raiders does something that I think is essential for an extraction game to stay healthy. It gives you systems that reduce the worst kind of extraction pain, without removing the risk entirely. Which brings us to two mechanics that deserve their own spotlight. First, safe pockets. I want to talk about the safe pocket system because this is one of those, why doesn't every extraction game do this features? See, depending on your equipped augment, you can have anywhere from 1 to 3 safe pocket slots. These are inventory slots that can hold basically anything except weapons. And the key is this: if you die in raid, you still get to keep whatever was in your safe pocket. This single mechanic eliminates one of the worst feelings in extraction shooters, the, "Oh my god, I just found the rarest thing in the entire game and now I'm going to lose it because some dude has been camping the extract since the Nixon administration." Now, safe pockets don't remove the stakes. You can still lose your kit. You can still lose most of your haul. But they guarantee that when you hit a big find, when you get a legendary blueprint, a critical component, a rare quest item, you have a way to secure at least something. It takes the most demoralizing edge off the genre without making the game too easy. It's like the devs looked at the extraction formula and went, okay, risk is good, but despair is not. And it gets even more interesting when you pair it with the next system. Arc Raiders has a free loadout system, and it's genuinely brilliant. Because free loadouts do two huge things. Number one, they make the game less punishing, especially for people that are learning. Number two, they keep you playing even when you're broke and your stash is empty. You can queue into a raid with a free loadout and literally risk nothing from your stash. That means you can practice maps, practice quests, practice movement, practice survival. You can take a run just to learn without the game financially punishing you for existing. And if you're down bad, like, I have nothing left in my stash bad, you're not locked out of the game. You're not forced into a 0 to hero run. The game gives you a way to earn back some momentum. But here's the genius part. Free loadouts have significant downsides. A free loadout is the weakest shield, the weakest guns, and most importantly, no safe pocket. So yes, you can risk nothing. Up until you find something insanely rare. Now you have to extract with it the old-fashioned way, by surviving the entire raid with underpowered gear and no safety net. And that trade-off is brilliant, because it creates this perfect tension loop. Free loadout runs can feel chill, right up until the moment you stumble into a god-tier blueprint or a rare quest item. Then suddenly the raid becomes a thriller movie. Because you have no safe pocket, your weapons aren't winning any serious fights, and now you're trying to cross the map like you're smuggling the last cure for humanity. It's a system that lets you play zero risk, but it can bite you hard if you get lucky. And honestly, that's perfect. Because it gives players options without undermining the core extraction identity. Now, when you combine safe pockets, free loadouts, slower combat pacing, real arc threats, and behavior-based matchmaking, you get something rare. You get a PvPvE ecosystem that balances itself without hard rules. Which leads into the final stretch of this review. Arc Raiders feels like the devs actually asked, what is it that makes this genre compelling? And then they built systems around the answer. The answer isn't just kills. The answer is tension. The answer is decisions. The answer is the moment you're loaded with loot, 2 minutes from extraction, your heart rate is ridiculous, and you hear something in the distance that makes you whisper, "Oh God, please not now." And Arc Raiders creates that feeling constantly without forcing every raid into a sweat pit. Because it gives you tools to survive. Map design that supports smart movement, audio that supports awareness, prox chat that supports diplomacy, PvE that punishes recklessness, combat pacing that rewards methodical play, matchmaking that nudges vibe alignment, quests that create purpose, crafting that creates long-term goals, safe pockets that reduce despair, and free loadouts that keep you engaged in the loop. None of those systems alone would make the game special. But cumulatively, they create a world where raids feel like stories instead of chores. Now, is Arc Raiders easy? No. It's still an extraction shooter. You're still tracking inventory, quest objectives, map routes, player threat, arc threat, stamina, cover, timing, and your own greed. But it feels learnable because the game is coherent. And more importantly, it feels fair in the good extraction shooter way. When you die, you usually understand why. You got greedy. You got reckless. You fought in the wrong place. You trusted the wrong person. You reloaded at the wrong time. You underestimated the arc. The game doesn't usually kill you and then shrug like, that's extraction, baby. It kills you and you go, yeah, that was totally my fault. And the culture this creates, especially with proximity chat and aggression matchmaking, is one where you actually see more variety in human interaction than most games of this genre. You get peaceful runs. You get chaotic runs. You get betrayals. You get real alliances. You get moments where someone chooses not to shoot you and you are genuinely surprised. Because the moment wasn't forced. And that is the magic. So here's my verdict. Arc Raiders is one of the smartest, most cohesive, most immersive extraction shooters I've played in a long time. The world building is compelling. The aesthetic is coherent. The maps are fantastic. The graphics are top tier and readable. The sound design is elite. And the proximity chat is a masterpiece. The arc enemies are real threats. The combat pacing rewards methodical play and punishes arcade-style chaos. The matchmaking philosophy is brilliant without turning the game into a boring safe lobbies only mode. The quest system feels like missions, not chores. Crafting is deep but logical. Safe pockets remove the worst kind of extraction despair. Free loadouts keep the game playable even when you're broke. It's tense without being cruel. It's hard without being cheap. Social without being a Discord simulator. And it's competitive without being a sweat pit by default. So if you've been curious about Arc Raiders but you've been burned by other PvPvE games where the AI is decoration and the players are feral, this is the one that I recommend without the usual disclaimer. All right, now I want to hear from you. Are you playing Arc Raiders like a peaceful scavenger, or are you out here raising your aggression score like you're trying to qualify for a villain's pension? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more Arc Raiders content, guides, quest routes, loadout talks, lore deep dives, tell me what you want next. Because I am not done with this game. Not even close.